thinking about self-publishing and don't know where to start? Join the Spa Girls each week for 30 minutes of honest advice, tips and resources. I'm Trudy J, and I am here with Cheryl Phipps.
Hi, don't look at us.
Shah Barrett.
Hello.
And Wendy Vella.
Hello.
We are this week going to put this as a video on.
Well, we may be. I'm just saying.
Depending how we feel about it, on our YouTube channel, as well as putting it up on the normal audio channels. So we shall see how we go.
Depending how many rude signs we make in the time, or
how many faces we make.
We can't control our face for more than
how many
20
family
minutes.
members come in, how many times we for coughing.
It's a work in progress, quite literally.
Yeah.
This is it.
This is us. Anywho, back to the topic at hand. This week we thought we'd do the topic how to manage your schedule when it's disrupted. Did I butcher that too badly?
No, that's cool.
That's perfect.
Schedule or schedule, depending on your preferred pronunciation of the word.
We're not fussy.
We're not fussy.
We're not fussy. And what we mean by that is if something happens, you have your normal routine, your normal schedule of when you write, when you do things, and then something comes in, I don't know, crazy pandemic or other thing. Like it could be anything, right? This is not just
not
about
just with this.
No.
But it's like you could be ill, you could have a family descend on you to come and stay with you suddenly, you could have, I don't know, whatever
it's
else.
Not always a bad thing. It can be good things as well as bad things.
Yeah.
But going along like this and then suddenly stuff happens, life happens actually, doesn't it? Life happens.
Yeah.
And you have to try and figure it out. And the reason, we started thinking about this, and then I remembered a post that I saw on 20 Books by Jamie Davis, which I thought was quite good. And he talked about how his schedule, and he had a certain set schedule and it was a certain way, and then everything that's happening right now happened, and he was still trying to keep to his schedule, like he was clinging on to that schedule with the very tips of his fingers, and then he realized that maybe he just needed to change the schedule, and then everything would be kind of okay. And I thought, actually, that's a pretty smart thing to think. And otherwise, you're going to go crazy.
That's the crux of it, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what happened to me the first week of our lockdown here in New Zealand. I was going crazy because I was like, oh my God, I've got to keep going to my schedule. I'm a writer. I can write at home. This should not be affecting me at all. I should be able to do it. Not a worry. And then I got to the end of that week and I was like, you know what? It does affect me. I've got 2 extra people in the house just for that's just that by itself, let alone the stress and the worry. So
it is. It's really, really hard. The first week I write quite a lot, and I just couldn't get my word counts out. And it was really frustrating me, and I just couldn't work out why I couldn't get my word counts up. And actually my husband said to me, just cut yourself some slack, like just take a break, just work on some other things that you want to work on that doesn't involve the creative, brain power. And that actually, it worked for me, just doing business things, but not actually writing. And I know that this week I've been able to yesterday was probably the first day I've actually got writing down and it's just starting to flow again and things like that. But it took me that long, to get into this routine that is our new normal.
The new normal.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's the thing. You have to look at your new normal and figure out where things are going to go. And maybe they don't go in the same place, or you don't do them the way you used to be able to do them. And that's okay. It's not a big deal,
absolutely.
Right?
Beating yourself up about it isn't actually going to help in any way, shape or form. So I think being kind to yourself and looking at what a new schedule could look like for you, even just like, maybe if you usually write for, 4 hours a day, maybe you just can do it in smaller blocks. Just every now and again, just drop back in and out of it. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to look like how it was, because you're not doing what you were doing before. And I think that's really, really important. I would say though that if you're going to make changes that are going to be affecting other people, you can't get your edits done in time or whatever, that to let those people know early, because their lives are affected as well. So if they're relying on the income that they will get from you or just their own time, then let them know as early as possible that this is not going to happen. And I'm sure that everybody is in the same boat. Everybody's going to appreciate your honesty.
Yeah. communication is important, isn't it, with everyone?
Oh, it really, really is. Everyone is very stressed out at the moment, but I think if you're actually trying to push yourself to achieve what you've always achieved is actually putting more stress on you. And that's and we are working with people in the house, which we haven't been doing before, and a lot of us are doing that now. And there is interruptions, and you're aware that there's noise, and you're aware, things that normally I just write here with my headphones on, and then my husband will come in and nearly give me a heart attack every single time.
Yeah, because you forget what sometimes, don't you?
He's like, what can I do to make this easier when I walk in? And I'm like, perhaps go around.
Don't walk in.
Perhaps go round to the window and wave.
That'd be creepy. Then you'd be thinking like creepy creepsters are coming at your window.
I said there is no way into this. Maybe text me. I don't know.
Make an appointment.
Let's chat it out before I go into the writing room.
I'll diarise you in for 10.
Yeah.
I want to give a special shout out to those parents. So in New Zealand, what they're doing for this particular period of time is bringing holidays forward. But just in general terms, if you're at home now with children that you're trying to homeschool as well, just a little tip from me kind of. So I've homeschooled on and off over the years. My kids are adults now, but just really be gentle with yourselves on this one. It's a huge adjustment for parents and children alike. And just you don't have to, the worst thing you can do is try and run school at home. Like you're not there 8:30 to 3:30 or 9 to 3 teaching the whole. The kids can actually get their work done in probably 1 to 2 hours depending on their age level. Teenagers obviously can be self-learning, but don't try and replicate it because you're just gonna make yourself go nuts.
Even at school, they don't do work the whole time. They play and they do games and they sing songs. There's no other interruptions
from other kids and things like that. You can actually get through things a lot more. So just be really gentle and just I think trying to write and conduct full-time homeschool would be.
But that's where scheduling comes in, right? And accepting that things have changed and and adjusting and that sort of thing. I think just sitting down and realizing that and accepting it, I think that's a start.
I think that it's not going to last forever.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing. Like it's not. This is not going to be the situation forever, and you just have to figure out a way.
And the same with school holidays. When disruption happens, you know that at least with school holidays, they kind of that there's a time limit on it, and I think that's probably the current global pandemic is what makes it tricky because we don't know. There's no definitive timelines on things, but just I would say the thing that should prioritize is self-care and sleep, number one for everybody. Good sleep.
Sleep is important.
And I would also say no matter how bad the day is, try and do a little bit of something because you're going to need to keep that brain power going, that routine going in some form so that when this is all over, you don't go,
how do I do this again?
Even 5 minutes of the funsy stuff, if you love making graphics, then make graphics. That's all you can manage. That's absolutely fine.
What I find really hard is when you think, so I think to myself, I need to write today. I have to write. I've been mucking around. I'm going to write. And then I get to the end of the day and I'm like, I didn't write. And I'm like, what was I doing?
Yeah.
What am I so stupid that I can't even just write? And I have a go at myself. And so on top of not, feeling bad, I'm making myself feel worse by having a go. And I think you just need to just calm down and not do that to yourself, and
because that's not creative. That's not creating a creativity.
You're making it worse, right? So if you go and you're really angry at yourself and you're annoyed and you're creating all this kind of horrible energy around yourself, and then the next day, are you going to feel like writing the next day? No. So you kind of got to just.
You got to, and sorry, go share.
I was just going to say, I think a really, really good tip here is, and something that has helped me over the last few days when I've been trying to get a book to go out next week, is asking for help. And my good buddy Wendy and my darling husband and another lady who's a beta reader, they helped me so much this week. And it's going to happen because of them, because my head just couldn't compute everything. It just wasn't doing what it would normally do. And I know they made the book better. So thank you.
No, no worries. Well, isn't that touching on something that I think is really important during this time is community. And that's, if you talk to people like you, even if it's one person, just get online and say, hey, how you doing? And quite often everyone I've spoken to who's in this industry will say, I'm really actually struggling. I can't actually get my words down, or I can't actually do this and I can't actually do that. And if you just talk to someone who's going, it just takes that pressure off. You know that it's not just you. And the other thing I found is just finding a place to write. For me, I had the run of the house. And you know, if I wanted to write in my lazy boy, I could. If I wanted to write in the kitchen, I could. If I, you know, wherever I wanted to go, I now don't have that. So I needed to find a place that was just mine. So when I'm in this place now, that is my writing space. You know, don't come in, don't, you know. So I think even if it's outside under a tree or sitting in your car with the windows open or wherever, find that little area.
Or if you're somewhere cold, make them closed.
Yes, that's right. Close your windows and put your heater on and maybe run your engine, whatever. But what I'm saying is
Not in
find...
a closed garage, though.
Not in a closed garage.
But what I'm trying to say is just find carve that little space out for yourself so that over the next few weeks, that's your environment to write in, so that when you get there, you're like, okay, I'm in the writing zone.
And also maybe mention to people around you that when you're in your writing space, maybe that's when they should leave you be. I think that's a hard thing for me at the moment too, is I've constantly got people coming in and out of my usual writing space, and I keep losing the flow. Yeah. And I think maybe just letting them know that this is, you know, you just need to let me be for a bit so I can have my writing time is really important. And I'm sure they'd mostly be okay with that, except if they're young kids who will never pay any attention to anything.
No, you need a big lock on the door, so mate, just bolt that sucker over.
You might just have to learn how to write when there's children climbing on you or something. I don't know. Yeah. I realise that I do talk a lot with my hands now that we're putting this on video.
I think the other thing is Messenger. You know, at the moment, Messenger is going crazy. I've got friends who want to message and sit down and talk over a coffee and stuff like that. And that's great because that's really a vital part of this. Yeah. But turn it off when you write. Honestly, if it's just for half an hour, you can survive. Put it in the other room, do whatever. Yeah. Because otherwise you'll be going, I wonder who that is. I wonder who that is. And like Toodles just said, it just rips you out of that mental space you've just put yourself in. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, I totally.
It's still scheduling, but it's flexible scheduling.
Yeah. You know. So what are some of the other things that we're doing to
well, I think don't overthink. We covered that, but change is happening. But I think the most important thing for me has been just roll with it. You know, that you can't change this. It's out of your control. And as writers, we control everything in our environment because it's our business and we do this on our own and no one else's. But at the moment, there's just too much going on, so we can't control that. And that's hard. So I think we've just got to control what's going on in our environment and just take little steps towards, you know, I feel that way.
And I think it's important to do something that you enjoy every day, but particularly something that you enjoy with the writing life every day as well.
Who's she laughing at? Why is she laughing?
Because it's a dog barking. It's not my dog. It's not my dog. It's not my dog barking. It must be. It's Wendy, I think.
I don't have a dog. Where would the dog be barking here? I don't have a dog.
It could be Wendy's husband trying to get her attention. Just
could be barking.
Ignoring him.
Yeah. I do want a dog, so maybe that's it. Yeah. Sorry, carry on.
For once, it's not my dog.
I think it's important to do something that you enjoy every day, just in general. But I think it's really important to ensure that when you're sitting down to do the writing or to focus on your author business, that you actually are doing something that you enjoy as well. Don't save all the stuff that you don't like doing, whether it's advertising, whether it's accounts, whether it's getting like
editing.
Yeah. Like
this is such bad timing.
Do the stuff. But I guess I kind of look on the bright side as well, and I think this is a really good time to start thinking of other things. If you've always hankered to write a sci-fi thriller, whatever, but you're an established romance pen, maybe this is the time to start noodling away on your sci-fi thriller, because I think it's a good time to kind of look at, to pause and actually look at doing things slightly differently.
Keep writing.
I'm not saying throw the whole baby out with the bathwater thing, but I'm just saying, actually, I think there will be good things that come out of this period. It's an enforced period of reflection for all of us, the entire world, first time ever. But it will, I think it's from a writing perspective, I kind of believe that sometimes those ideas that are in the back of your mind actually need to be given light.
Yeah.
So
absolutely, but also that just keeps your writing muscle
exactly.
ticking
And
over.
so you want something that you're excited to get to. This is not the time to go to something that you're like on the 5th draft and it feels like
laborious
kind of thing.
Totally.
Unless you're the kind of person who needs just a rote task or something, I guess.
We're all different. It's going to affect people.
It's going to affect, but I like the idea of trying something new and looking around you. And in fact, it is a good opportunity to not just with the writing, but with everything.
Absolutely.
To look around, and so we talk about changing your schedule. Like maybe it's a good opportunity to see what's in your schedule that shouldn't be there.
And I mean, a lot of people, like a lot of writers, particularly when they're used to working from home, and as you guys have found, suddenly you've got more people in the home, and so maybe you are writing at a different time of day that you normally would, or maybe you kind of, as you said before, you've got to kind of go with the flow. But you know what, if you have to put your kids in front of the Frozen 2 for the 17th time, then do it.
As she runs screaming from the room.
That's your writing time. So also I think aligning, so this is what worked for me when my kids are at home all the time, is you align something when you want space, align it with something that they really want to watch or to play, whether it's a game or whatever, and that then it's a positive rather than a
go away, mum wants to write,
mum's away, and so we've just stand outside the door, whacking
or dad.
And also what, if there's more than one adult in the house, then I'm sorry, the other adult needs to step up as well and
absolutely. I want to add to this that I think it's really important not to talk to people that are bringing you down all the time. Okay,
it's hard because
I'm not saying
I'm struggling.
Absolutely, and that's fine. But just understand what you're feeling after you've read the news, or if you're one of those people that can just read it and go, okay. But I was finding that I was constantly looking for updates, constantly looking, and what was happening is it was really getting me down. So I had to back away, and I just say to my husband, "What's happening in the world?" And he'll give me a quick, brief rundown, and then we're done.
That's all you need. That's actually all you need, because there's nothing you can do. You're doing it by staying home.
So all your anxiety and fear for the future is not actually going to change anything at all. And so you've just, I think curtailing that's been a big part. It ties in with the sleep thing, eh?
Absolutely.
Scrolling through reading news sites is not a good move to do.
And getting back to the scheduling side of things, I would download a clean schedule off of the internet and start afresh, because your old schedule at the moment is possibly not going to work. So just per week or per month, I would download a new sheet from somewhere and just start, okay, well, I'm going to do 10 minutes of writing this morning and maybe 10 minutes this afternoon.
Exactly.
Maybe look at your old one and compare it and go, well, actually, these are the things that I do need. I can carry those across, and everything else is gone or minimized.
And it takes a little while to get into that though too. So don't expect it to be a success maybe on day one.
Absolutely. I totally think that's the way to go.
Yeah. No, that sounds good. And just cut yourself some slack.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, totally.
Like I just was doing that the first week, just kind of going, I'm not doing enough, and this is the perfect time. The world is shut down. I should be so creative and I should be doing all the stuff, and there's a lot of shoulds going on, and
there's a lot of shoulds, and there's a meme that's going around that's driving me nuts about with the last pandemic, so and so wrote this opera or this
Shakespeare.
I just want to shoot that meme. I really do, because you know what? I bet you they went home with bloody kids and a husband and fretting. No.
Yeah. There's another meme going around that says, if you're not creative, cut yourself some slack because you're in a pandemic. So that
kind of says it all.
And that's the truth. That's the truth of it. We're all in the air. And we don't know what's going on.
Okay, that's it. You don't have to be Susie Sunshine that's posting on Instagram with your friggin' homemade bloody muffins every day. Sorry, swearing. Really getting hit up here.
Tell us how you really feel, bud.
Just remember, Instagram is not the real world. Just saying.
Well, as is evidenced by my bread. I baked some bread. I took a photo. put it on Instagram because I thought it was awesome, and it didn't. Then it went so flat I could slide it under the door.
So
what I'm saying is,
if you're listening to this, we have a Spa Girls YouTube channel now where we record a daily lockdown session, and Wendy told the story of her breed that brought joy to many people, and I would actually argue that there was more joy brought from your breed failing than probably succeeding, which would have just been enjoyed by yourself and your husband.
Yeah, I won't tell you about the biscuits I made last night then. They're out in the paddock as well.
Not having much luck, Wendy, are you?
No, real bad. Blake said,
keep trying.
He said, you're usually a really good baker, but he said, you've lost your mojo since we've gone into lockdown, mate. And I'm like, well, I'm not doing it anymore. You're on it. It's all
you can bake
now, mate.
You can bake. Instead of interrupting you can bake.
Yeah.
So go click on our link and you'll see our daily diaries.
Actually what gave us the brave to come and do this.
Yeah.
If you're seeing this with our pictures.
Yeah.
Because we're not sure yet.
We're still not sure. We're not sure.
Yeah.
We're doing the trying new things thing as well for us. So.
Well, that's it. And isn't that right? We've done things that we've never done before. One, doing those little live videos, and two, doing this live, because usually we're giving each other the fingers and poking tongues and writing little notes.
I don't know what you're talking about. We need
just like
half
never
the
do
time
that.
Half the time we're not dressed.
Yeah.
So YouTube's ready for that.
Just them.
Yeah.
Just them.
Just I'm dressed. I'm fully
always
dressed all the time.
Anyway, so we're stepping out.
We're stepping out of our comfort zone because having our faces and showing what I'm feeling really uncomfortable right now with the song concept, but we're doing it, and it's.
I think we all are. Look at my office; it needs cleaning. Let's be honest.
I've got brown walls. I hate these brown walls.
I would like everybody to admire my plant that I'm growing. I grew from a cutting, and I'm really showing off for that kind of thing.
Yeah. And now all the people who listen to audio are going to be like, "What are they on?"
So if you are listening to audio, if you go to the show notes, scroll down. If you're on iTunes, or go to our spargirlspodcast.com and you'll see the show notes, and I'll also put the link to our YouTube channel in there. Now, because we don't have 100 likes yet, which I'm very much hoping by the time that this is published we will have, but because we don't, we have got this horrible YouTube URL at the moment, so it's all not nice and yet. But you will see the
we haven't heard this before.
Notes.
No.
Okay,
and that's the thing. Now, actually, just briefly mentioning marketing at the moment, if we can just go on to that. Marketing in times of when the schedule's disrupted, I would venture. So this is just me spitballing here. The girls haven't heard this, so, I might be shouted down, and this is the first time that you'll witness that I get, regularly beaten down.
Whatever.
So I think this is actually a good time to try different things. This is not the time to shut everything down. This is a good time to communicate with your email list in a understanding but positive way. But I think I think authenticity will always pay off. And we joke about doing these videos. It is super uncomfortable. It's been a little while since we've all been 21 and in our prime of our,
Well, it's only a couple of years for
me,
but
I'm in my prime.
So,
clearly, I've got no wrinkles.
But we're getting some really good feedback, and I think it's because we are genuine. And I would urge you.
Oh hell yeah! Nothing more genuine than this, like.
I'm not saying you have to get on and show yourself in all your glory, but just when you're communicating on your email newsletter, be authentic. But also, I would say still try and keep it kind of upbeat. People particularly are reading fiction for escape. And so I think you want to always, and particularly romance is about love and hope. And so you want to kind of still keep conveying those. In terms of the practicalities of advertising, be aware that Facebook advertising is quite pricey when worldwide events are happening, just because there's a lot of people trying to get into that market, and the big corporates have a lot more money to spend than authors. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying be mindful and keep watch.
I think that in some when it first happened, they were actually finding it was cheaper on Facebook ads. So I don't know what it's like now necessarily, but
it depends. I mean, it's the old story. It depends. I mean, man, if we had dime for every time we've said that. But I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying keep watch. I would not let things put something up and leave it for a week. So in your schedule, I would try and build in, just if you're running ads, particularly on Facebook, just check regularly. AMS seems to just be tracking as normal at this point in time.
I'm not finding Facebook too bad, to be fair. I think it's just
that's great.
My Facebook
I
ads
think
it's
just tracking as per, you know, no issues at this stage. I think things have settled down. You know, we're like, for us, we're day 955, and I'm pretty sure.
I'm thinking that Wendy might have exaggerated that a little. As she's
sorry, maybe day 7 for you people. Day
a billion 9 for you, right?
Exactly. I'm just finding that things have actually just tracked back to normal now and just sort of settled. And like I say, the new normal.
Yeah. I would just be mindful of certain terms that are getting caught in spam filters. So if you use, like at the moment, if you use corona or virus and that kind of thing in an email, will usually get caught in a spam trap. So don't have those in your
don't do it anyway.
subject headings.
People don't put that in an
just
email right
kind of
now.
be mindful of that. And if you're really struggling to get words down, then maybe this is a good time to maybe do a couple of online courses. There's a lot that are running for free at the moment or discounted. So you can still work on your business maybe.
Or if you're like me, you can start listening to the ones that you've stockpiled and
like that
over the last several years.
Listen, no judgment from sitting here, I tell you.
You could start reading that 7-foot how-to pile of books you've both got too, you know.
I'm sorry, but do you not recall that when I moved house,
you did. It's still 3.5 feet high though, Shah. Come on.
And I do read a lot of my how-to books. I just want to say.
Okay, good girl. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
That was me being
positive. You're not really. No,
I am.
I know you're not.
Genuine pride.
You don't believe in how-to.
It's best not to say anything.
If you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. So I just want to. I think we've kind of talked out schedule, have we?
Yeah, we have.
We have.
I just want to give a shout out to Dylan Crush, who, when we were at RAM, laughed at me for saying, and I can't even remember what way we say schedule or schedule, but she thought it was amusing. Whatever way we say it is not the way they say it in the States.
Really?
And now I'm really confused.
A lot of things of how we say things are quite amusing to other people.
I know.
Oh, lots and lots. People don't understand us.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yay.
And I'd like to say that, you know, whatever is happening in your world, you should always take a little moment to celebrate, if you can, with things that you love.
Cheryl is showing us her delightful blocks of chocolate.
Whittaker's is the best.
It's her birthday. It's her birthday. It's her birthday.
Okay, should we sing to Cheryl?
No.
Okay. We'll do it on the other video.
By all means, you can sing, Wendy, but
birthday
again,
to you.
It's
birthday, Cheryl. Birthday to you. That done.
Okay, all right, stop.
Yeah, lovely. That's great.
There's a lot of heart put into that.
We were uncomfortable enough with being on video. The idea of singing on
video.
No.
Anyway, I think
so are we done with scheduling?
We are done, I think.
I think we are. And just remember, this too shall pass, and we are going to come out of it stronger and better than ever.
And if you're feeling that you're just getting too, you know, everything's getting too much, speak to someone. Look, just reach out. There's a lot of people out there. Just reach out.
Come onto our page.
Absolutely. Have a chat with us.
Yeah.
I've been listening to Brooke Castillo's Handling Chaos
Really?
episodes, and I found them really helpful. I was struggling last week, and I'm feeling a lot more happy and confident this week, and I put it all down to listening to those episodes.
Are they publicly
they're public
available?
Ones.
Yes, they are.
Ones.
So we could put those in the show notes too.
Yes, we will, because she is good.
Priority, we want you to go to YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and then go down and listen to Brooks.
Yeah. Actually, I'm gonna be honest with you, Trudy. I may have mocked you then, but I've listened to them all.
Yeah.
There you go, you see.
I think it becomes a habit.
You're mocking me.
The mocking?
Mocking.
To be fair, we're mocking. You're mocking me. I think we
always mocking me.
We mock each other constantly. That's how we roll. All right, so
awesome.
We're done, I think.
Thank you to everyone for listening to another and watching potentially another episode of the Spa Girls podcast. Where can we be found, Shah?
We can be found at spagirlspodcast.com, on YouTube at the show notes link, and we are just here everywhere for you. So just hang in there. We're all in this together.
Awesome. Thanks for that. Yes. Until next time, as Shia just said. See you all. Bye.
Bye. Bye.